well met, travellers, once again, to the D&D podcast, The INKquisition, where we dive into the absolute fantastic minds behind the craft, the creativity, and the chaos, if that was in the right order. Tonight's a really exciting one. It's been a long time coming because we are going to be talking to the amazing content creator who is Minty Talks A Lot. So come along with me, come and jump on this call and see how we get on. Minty.
Hi, Mike.
This has been so long anticipated, mate.
It has. I don't know what was happening. We were ships in the night. We just couldn't find a day, but I'm so glad.
Our stars are aligned and we're here. And are you ready, my friend?
Yeah, I think so. You make it sound like the trials, but
here we go. If someone have never played Dungeons and Dragons before and they watched one of your videos, what do you hope they fall in love with first? Would it be the game or would it be your stories?
Oh, well, truthfully, I hope they fall in love with me, to be honest.
I'm sure they will.
I think, yeah, the concept of the game is what I'm trying to sell. You know, if I ever tell one of my stories, it's only to try and indoctrinate someone else into, experiencing some of their own. So definitely more so with the game than anything I've got to blob on about.
You're so humble, my mate.
I try.
For anyone discovering you through the INKquisition today, who is Minty Talks A Lot?
Minty Talksalot is I am a D&D/TTRPG content creator nowadays, which is exciting. I make long-form content on YouTube, which is meant to make you think and laugh, and then you can find me on Instagram and TikTok as well, where I do a lot more kind of short-form stuff, a little bit funnier, a little bit, easier to digest. But overall, just trying to help players and DMs tell better, stronger stories and have longer-lasting campaigns is my hope.
Which I can absolutely say with so much reassurance that you do that very easily, my mate. And I enjoy your videos. When I first wanted to start doing the podcast, I was looking out at all the pages that I enjoy. Yours and Dirty 20, shout outs. We're going shout outs again. I do so many. Yours and Dirty 20s were the first people I looked at.
Really? And I also am a big fan of those guys as well. We've done some stuff together. They are lovely, lovely people.
They are indeed. Hi, Ben and
kind.
Steph. They're so dear to me, they really are. Where did your love for the fantasy and gaming and storytelling first begin?
Oh, in terms of fantasy in general, I grew up in a very fortunate situation with a much older brother. He's 10 years older than me, and so that meant that, he was 15, I was 5, and he was like, hey, you will sit down and watch Lord of the Rings, and you will, enjoy everything that I enjoy.
That's a fantastic brother.
So for me, my nerdiness and general kind of love of storytelling, he's also a bit of a film buff. I ended up studying film at university. I kind of just, it's always been in my household, my family. We're super into films, TV, books, and fantasy is one of those things, but it's not the only thing. So yeah, for me, it was straight out the womb, really.
I love that, and so it should be with each and every family that get into these type of things. You pass them down, and you love because nostalgia happens, and then inspiration happens through people's nostalgia. And my family's a lot like that as well. Big, massive nerds. I've got no brothers or sisters, so I guess I came from the inspirations myself. But my mum, my dad, and all my friends and their elders and brothers, that's where I got my love for being a nerd from as well. So were you always a nerd growing up, or did D&D come in later in life?
I was a late bloomer with D&D for sure. I think I don't know, maybe it isn't the case. I have met a couple of people who are from the UK who played when they were very young, and they were lucky to find it when they were, 14 or so. But for me, I don't think it's, it's not as big a part of the UK zeitgeist as it is in the US. You don't really know what it is necessarily as much as I think kids in the US do. So I wasn't really sure what it is. And then I remember watching Stranger Things and going, oh, I kind of get it now. I was like, I've heard of it. I see the gist. That sounds cool. And off the back of that, I kept trying to play, couldn't quite find opportunities, and then finally found a one-shot at university with my game society at my university. Somebody was kind enough to run a one-shot for me, and that was it. I was in, game one. It was life-changing.
Can you run us through that one shot? Like, what was it?
Oh, yeah, of course. It was really fun. So first of all, I was a terrible player because I came to the table with no character sheet, no prior thinking other than tieflings seem cool. So that was the vibe. I was like, I want to play a tiefling. And the DM was very helpful. He was like, look, because you don't really know how to do this, maybe you should play a monk, something martial. Let's not worry about spells today. Put the sheet together there for me in 10 minutes. Just like wrote down the numbers, went, there you go. And it was a really simple game. We were in a village, a few of us, we already knew each other, and we were looking for some missing children, and all the clues started to point into the direction of this nice old lady who lived on the hill, and we went to see the nice old lady, and of course she was a hag. Which I didn't see coming because I had never played D&D before. So we had this big hag fight, and we ended up carrying on from that after that one shot and trying to, start a campaign, which unfortunately had a very early death because COVID came about 3 months later. So my first experience was cut a bit short, but I was sucking in from the first game.
People start, a lot of common occurrences that people are starting at COVID. Yours finished at COVID.
It did. It nearly killed it. Yeah, it wasn't that I didn't then try to find it during COVID. Obviously, I kind of played a bit online with a couple of the friends I had made, during that one shot. I played online with random people as well. But it took a long time for me to get into it consistently. And I'm very glad that I didn't stop trying, thank goodness, because, I think I just wanted to recapture the magic of that first few games. And luckily I've been able to do that.
What was the character's name, and does it have a special place in your heart still?
Oh, the first character?
Yeah.
He was a tiefling called Bleat, because he had ram horns rather than like straight up horns. So I jokingly named him after a sheep. And yes, he does definitely still hold a special place in my heart. One of my fellow players currently was at that game. I met him there. And Bleat ended up dying about 3 sessions later because I couldn't play D&D. I didn't know how to play. So he died a horrible death, and we still talk about it to this day because it was dramatic, it was sad, and truthfully, that was the game, I think, that solidified it for me, because I remember going home to my then boyfriend, now fiance, and he was like, how was your game? Was it fun? And I just started crying. And he was like, oh my God, what happened? And I said, my character died. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You don't have to do it again. And I said, that was the most fun I've ever had. I remember saying that. And it's just one of those things, isn't it? You can't quite describe it to someone who hasn't been through it.
Of course, no, definitely. The electrodes in your body start fizzing. And so you might have just already answered this. So what was the moment where D&D stopped being a game and became a genuine passion? What was it then?
I think I've probably had a few of those moments across different campaigns and different characters. I think you've described it nicely there, where it's such a physical thing sometimes. When I had that first moment there where I realised my character was going to die. And I was having so much fun, and there was so much adrenaline, and it was such like a mix of sadness and happiness. It's so potent, even though you're just sat around a table. I do think that did it for me. And I've had other moments, even one recently, where you're reminded how powerful this game is, where I was having an in-game conversation, and there was tears, real tears came through, and
you want the tears.
You just realise, like, wow, there's nothing quite like this hobby, So I think I fall back in love with it very frequently.
I mention this over and over. The feeling that I get is like when you've come home from a gig and you can't really go to bed yet because you're so amped up and you can't believe what's just happened. Your imagination's flowing, the creativity inside your body is just... You're like playing little mini trailers inside your head of how the story's gone. And then
exactly, yeah. You're listening to music, you're putting the music video together in your head. Yeah,
there's nothing like it. For anyone who's not into TTRPGs, even just to give it a go and see if you can search for that feeling, I swear to God, you'll absolutely enjoy yourself. But you're very role-play focused then. What is it about role-playing that captures you more, than combat or optimization?
Good question. I think it's in me naturally because I was a bit of a theatre inclined person when I was a kid. So I liked drama. I studied performing arts before university, and so I've always enjoyed, being performative, trying to capture people, trying to make people laugh. So that's always sort of been part of my personality. But I think in terms of when I'm in the game, the fascinating thing for me, the thing that never ceases to be interesting, is putting myself in the head of my character and putting myself in their shoes and trying my best to leave this room, because I play online, so I'm very much here. And just the challenge of putting your own thoughts away and your own opinions and what you would do and thinking, what would this character actually do in this moment? It's hard. I think I find it not that easy, to stay in character, and I think that's the fun challenge for me. But I will say that I'm not one of those roleplay focused players who doesn't want any combat or optimization. I'm constantly trying to learn the game better and not get my party killed. I'm a big believer in optimizing to the point where, there's no TPK. And for me, combat can be incredibly roleplay and narrative focused, depending on the table. It is for mine. We find ways to keep the kind of roleplay and narrative going throughout fights. So I do think it's not a one or the other thing for me.
That's awesome. I like a perfect balance. I don't like all combat. I don't like just talking. There's got to be a mixture between everything, and you even sadness, happiness. You want a lot, don't you? Because, as you said, you're trying to escapism away from you and be this character in a situation of what would you do in that situation, and you just hope that your players on the other side feel that magic and something magic happens, and then you get the stuff where you can't sleep. Do you think
it doesn't sound healthy, does it?
No, it doesn't. But anything good isn't.
Very true. Very true.
Do you think roleplay is something anyone can learn, or do you think people naturally gravitate toward it?
I think definitely certain people have a bit more of a penchant for acting, but something I do very much believe in is roleplay is not just acting. Like, roleplay takes many different forms, and I've had the pleasure of being at quite a few tables and seeing it manifest in very different ways depending on people's personalities. And I have a respect for the complete commitment to the monologue and the really serious method roleplay almost, because some days that's me. But I also have witnessed people who don't do accents, don't really emote too much, but through narration or through careful choice of words, embody a character beautifully. I just think everybody kind of does it differently. So for me, it definitely is something people can learn, because there is no right or wrong, I like to believe. I hate it when you see videos or anyone really preaching about what D&D should be and what roleplay should look like, because I don't think that's a thing. I don't think there's an answer to that.
I totally agree to you there. The key role is, have we all had fun? If someone said no because you want me to do an accent and I don't really want to do that, then we're not playing the game right. Everyone gets their little bit of enjoyment out of D&D if that's just, again, not playing accents but carefully thinking about a strategy of where you're going to help your players, or someone might want to bring their best accent. That's all down to you, and everything is okay, and that's the beauty of role playing, right? One of your videos says D&D backstories should never really be finished. Can you explain that philosophy, please? Excuse me.
Yes, of course. I might be a DM's worst nightmare, because I, despite being someone who's super into stories and goes really in depth in my characters, that does not happen at session 0 for me. That is incredibly hard for me to come to the table with one of those 10-page backstories, because I have to sort of, it sounds quite wanky, but I have to sort of be in the characters to get to know them. And so for me, I write something relatively simple that doesn't box me in at all. It gives the DM enough to, especially if we're homebrewing, I want them to have enough to build out the world, where the character's from, etc. But from there, I think I encourage any players to really think flexibly about what is in there and what they can add in or tweak to suit the story. And I know that that's not everybody's way of playing, and I appreciate that because it's a little bit cheaty, but I think it works at a table where you all trust each other, not to add something in for the sake of winning an argument or something like that. It works at a table where people see an opportunity to make a moment way more impactful, to add layers to a conversation, and that's where they can put a memory into the backstory that might not have existed now before, but now it does, and now the story's better for it. I think constantly seeing how your backstory can be fleshed out it leads to more impactful roleplay.
It really does, mate. I couldn't agree more with that. Have you ever had a DM completely transform one of your characters into something you've never expected?
Ooh, that is a really good question. Not in a terrible way, so that's good.
So I was thinking, because you said you're the DM's worst nightmare, I wondered if the DM's ever turned the tables on you.
If I've had worst nightmare DMs, no, not quite, thank goodness. You hear horror stories, don't you? And I don't know how I've managed to escape them, really, in terms of people giving their character to them and getting something completely different back. No, but I have definitely been surprised by the choices that DMs have made. My current DM is very cards to the chest. I don't know what is going through that man's mind. I've got he doesn't give anything away. And the directions he's sort of played with my character's story, I gave him a relative blank check backstory, as I've described, are endlessly surprising and exciting, but that's because I trust him and because I wanted that. I think DMs, be mindful of when your players would like you to take creative liberties and when they don't want you to do that. Yeah.
Good. Do you want to give him a shout out, by the way? Who is this lovely DM?
Yeah, of course. My DM is a lovely fellow called Jacob. He is not in the sort of content creator space, so I will gatekeep him because I like to have him to myself at our table, but he is a wonderful writer, wonderful performer, all the good things, proper triple threat.
Amazing. Hi Jacob, well done on your DM skills, I believe. So have you ever become emotionally attached to a character to the point where saying goodbye genuinely hurt?
Oh, absolutely. And I think this can come in the form of playable characters and NPCs, right? Like it's
oh yeah.
I do particularly love it when parties really adopt an NPC. Like, that is one of my favourite things to see happen. Yes, I've definitely had... I think everybody can relate to having a character that you put a lot of thought and time into, and unfortunately the campaign not, lasting as long as you would like, or the story having to come to an end. But I do kind of try to think very positively about that, and I take elements of that character that I like and I take it into the next one. So if there was a bit of a backstory that I thought was cool and I didn't get to see it through, I'll just carry it over, and they sort of live again through a new iteration and a new iteration. And that way I don't get too sad about it because they live on in some format.
Yeah, because you have that idea in your head and you have that little fantasy, oh, that'll be cool if that worked out. And if it doesn't get to that point, you're like, no, I still want to do that.
Exactly.
That bit,
I've been trying to, honestly, Mike, I've been trying to get the backstory of my first ever character, because he died after 3 sessions. I've been trying to get that backstory off the ground for years. I haven't managed it yet, but maybe one of these days.
I'm always looking for that fresh cut grass moment to do that, sacrifice moment. I'm going to put in one for the teams. I'm going to blow myself up to save the day, and everyone's going, no. I'm like, yeah, crap.
But you have to get that far, that feels like a year in, 2 years in kind of moment.
Let's do it on the first session. Sorry guys, I love you. Bump.
Yeah, I've not had it yet, but I'll keep you updated.
I'm really excited for this part because I also, off camera, want to pick your brains. When did you decide to start making D&D content?
So I can't actually remember when I uploaded my first YouTube video. In truth, I wasn't looking to make D&D content originally. I'm a big YouTube fan. That's always been my platform. I grew up watching YouTube. My parents are, in their 60s, so they gave me unfettered access to the internet, which they shouldn't have done. And I spent all of my time watching YouTube videos. So
they
for
grew
me,
a monster.
Long form, yeah, it's the best. Like, long form content was where it was at for me, and not necessarily in the social media space. So I was like, I want to do something, I'm not sure what. I made a couple of YouTube videos about stuff I find interesting outside of D&D, mainly animation, and
let's
kids
talk.
media.
What type of animation?
Well, mostly 3D animation. I made a video about, it's a movie that not many people know about, but it's a film called Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Gahul.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Do you know the one I mean?
I've got a degree in 3D animation.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we definitely need to talk about this on a
Let's
different
go.
day.
Yeah. We're going to do an animation podcast soon called Mike and
Please,
Minty's Animation
please,
Podcasts.
I would love that. So that was like the first YouTube video I made, and then I was going to kind of continue in that vein, and at the same time I started my current game that I'm playing, my current home game, and only a few weeks in I hadn't played D&D for a while. I'd had a bit of a hiatus. I'd been struggling to find a new table, both locally and online. It was one of those, just a few months me going like, oh God, maybe I'm not going to be able to find anything again. And then I found my table. I fell back in love so hard with D&D that I was like, right, next YouTube video, I'm going to talk about D&D because it's another thing I like, and I'll just talk about whatever I feel like. And that video did relatively well. So I was like, right, okay, let's maybe start to niche down. So I just continued doing that. I continued taking inspiration from the conversations that I was having with my table and the way we would talk about our characters and stuff and go, ooh, that's a video idea. And then from there, I just kind of continued in that vein and made social media channels off the back of that. And that has been so rewarding because I have met people through Instagram, TikTok, Discord, that's where I found the community. So cool. that's what, it was a very simple story. I was just very in love with my table, so I wanted to talk about them.
It is like me creating this, like you get to find your people, so
exactly. Yeah,
and it's awesome. Was there ever a moment where you've ever thought, wow, people actually enjoy listening to me talk about D&D?
I don't know if that's it yet. No, I think that first video was quite a simple one. It was like tips for things you can do in between games to like have some fun. The next one, I think there was one where I was talking about that point of acting not necessarily being the same as roleplay. And so many people commented something to the tune of, this made me feel a lot better, or I've just started playing and I was feeling really nervous, this made me feel better. And it wasn't me going, oh wow, how good am I? But
yeah, of course.
The fulfillment I got from the idea that I might have helped someone have a better time playing this game was just overwhelming, and that's what keeps me going really, as much as I'm really terrible at uploading. The ethos behind it is, if I can help one person enjoy D&D the way I enjoy D&D, I've done some good, because I believe in its power of good very, very much. So
I actually think it was that very video that the difference between acting and role playing was the first one I ever seen from yourself.
Oh yeah, was it?
I actually think so, yeah. I think it was, because that rings a bell heavily, and then it engaged in my brain then. Wow, it's a really good narrative. She's talking a lot of sense and that, and I feel the same way. And I think it just started spiraling from then. When you first started doing all this, was talking on camera awkward? Did you have to break any, that's what they call cringe barriers or anything like that?
Oh no, to be honest with you, I'm pretty cringe free, which is very, very lucky. It helps that in my day job I've always worked in kind of client services, and so I'm always on calls like this, essentially, sort of trying to entertain people and pitch to them and stuff like that. So for me, being on camera and sort of presenting myself and trying to get something across, luckily I've gotten quite used to it in my day-to-day. So it was a little weird, and watching yourself back on camera as well is always awful. You're like, oh, what was I doing? Or I sound really weird. I had to sort of go through all of that. But no, the fun of it for me is just sort of saying what comes to mind and then going, I think that's funny, and then putting it out there and seeing if anyone else thinks it is.
I certainly think it is, mate. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Your videos always feel really genuine and relatable, like I said before. Is that intentional, or is it just naturally you, my friend?
It's not too intentional. It is the hope for sure, but something I think I had in the back of my mind that probably stopped me doing content, for a while, as in, slowed me down from getting into it, was this idea of like, what's my thing? What niche. I need a niche, and because I work in social media as well, and that's kind of my day job as well, is thinking like, how do we get reach and how do we break the algorithm and stuff. Like, I think I started to apply that to myself, and it puts so much pressure on you, this idea of like what's gonna engage and what's gonna be different and stuff like that. And when I realized that I would make content quicker if I just didn't think about it that much. If I just talk and I'm just me and I say something that I think's funny and I think is smart, but it probably isn't. Let's just put it out. And that seemed to be what kind of engaged people. And I think something I forgot is that the content I enjoy is when people are themselves, so being myself, it's definitely really me. I do talk a lot and I sort of waffle, as you can tell. So, I don't worry now so much about like, how do I niche down or how do I be more interesting, because I just think being yourself, I think everyone is interesting. So, why should I not afford myself that same thinking?
Well, I'm so happy you said that, because I'm in that rut at the moment. I've got like 8 or 10 videos out now at the moment. It really done well for itself at the first start, but then it slowly drops. But it's like, I feel sometimes worried about it, but I shouldn't be worried about it, because I just want to put that out there anyway, and then in the future I can look back at it. So who am I really doing it for? Are you doing it for the people, or are you doing it for yourself? So I guess I'm doing it for myself, and I'm doing it to meet these lovely people in the D&D community, basically. Okay, what did you expect so many people... Sorry, I'll do that again. Did you expect so many people to relate to your player problem videos?
But sorry, which videos?
Is it players' problems?
Oh, no, to be honest with you. I think there's such a weirdness with D&D where it's obviously so like table by table in terms of like what you experience. It's so dependent on your specific friends, your specific characters, your specific story. And so when I've like posted something that was incredibly specific to my table, it's never-endingly surprising to me when everyone goes, oh yeah, I had a similar thing last week, or, let me tell you about my... And obviously it's never exactly the same, but I think there are some just like human truths to D&D, like everyone struggles to schedule, everyone, has tried to kiss an NPC, like you realise that there's a lot of like recurring themes. So yeah, sometimes I worry, I'm like, maybe that was a bit specific, and it never seems to be too specific, so I guess I'll keep going.
I think we're all like a hive mind, to be fair, because we're all the same type of people, creative, a little bit spectrumated. We've all got the same thoughts. Like
100%. We actually all have already had the same thought. That's why we like it, because we're like, yes, I agree.
A lot of creators chase trends. You've built a community by celebrating the little moments every D&D player understands. Was that always your goal?
No, to be honest, I think I definitely went into, especially the shorter social media videos, thinking like, oh, I need to, I need to have a think of what other people are talking about right now, and I need to pay attention to what Wizards of the Coast are talking about, and I went in with that kind of thought, and then I just kind of quickly realised I'm not going to do that. I'm not very good at keeping up with some things. So, no, I think I like the blend. I love it when I find audio that's really funny or a trend that's happening, and I can bring a very relatable scenario to that. And also the creators I enjoy the most on social especially do that, so I really enjoy that approach of finding, like you say, funny ways to get across those little relatable moments. But yeah, I'm not against trends at all, and I completely see that when I have done a trending audio or something like that, it's gotten the most views, so it's like, oh well, we're all slaves to the algorithm at the end of the day. I'll pepper some in, but then I like to do some stuff where it's just me chatting, because otherwise it doesn't really feel as authentic for me.
Yeah, well, I was about to jump in, sorry for jumping in. Or when someone thinks that you may not be English.
Oh, that comment as well. I if anyone tries to look for that comment, I had to delete it because he started being a little bit abusive to other people in the comments, so I had to get rid. But that I've never quite received anything like that, and he just seemed to get angrier the more I insisted that I am indeed from the UK. I do think that I'm from the Midlands, and that is a very neutral accent. Like it's neither here nor there. Are you from the north? Are you from the south? So maybe that's why he thought it was like a default British voice.
Yeah, this lady does not have a distinctive accent. She must be American, man.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a good question. I actually didn't ask him what he thought I was. I should have said like, what do you think think I'm American? Do you think I'm European? Like, what do you... But no, he started swearing at people, so he had to get blocked, unfortunately.
You should have shouted back at him in Scouse. That would have freaked him off, I'm telling you now.
Do you know what? Next time, Mike, I'll just tag you and you deal with it.
Hey, lad, do want you there. This is... I'm flabbergasted, this question. We keep on, like, doing the questions before I do the question itself.
Sorry.
I'm not apologizing. Do not apologise. We're ahead of the game. We are ahead of the game.
With Hive Mind, like you said.
Hive Mind. It was. Have you ever received a message from someone that reminded you why you make videos?
Oh yeah, to continue to pretend to be English. Obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll just get rid of that paper. That one's well done. You can put that on screen. Easy, that one's gone. Right, exciting times. Because yes, I want to massively congratulate you on being nominated for the Crit Awards.
Thank you so much. That was a lovely thing to wake up to.
How did you find out?
I was sent the post in which I was mentioned by many people at once very early in the morning. So I sort of blearily opened my phone and was like, what's going on? And there was a bit of confusion because I think quite a few people thought they would be notified beforehand, but it turns out only the nominees who had not nominated themselves, so there's your giveaway that I'm self-nominated, only those would be contacted to check they were okay with it. So I think for quite a few people, they weren't expecting those posts that day, so it was a lovely surprise. And yeah, it was something that I had my eye on for a long time. You know, I'm conscious that it seems to be sort of one of the most recognised kind of accolades in the community, and it is very much community ran. You know, it seems like it's very boots on the ground how they do it, and it's such an honour that anybody saw my content and thought that it was worth the finalist spot. So yeah, especially among other creators that I love and respect and think are really cool, you know, so it's been a lovely week.
Congratulations, my love. When do you get to find out?
Not for a long time. So the voting period is open now. It doesn't close until late August, and then I think it's not until late September that there'll be a live stream, which I need to double check, but I'm willing to bet that will be unsociable hours for me. But I'll be there. Don't worry.
Is it American, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
But more than happy to stay up for that one.
What did that nomination mean personally to you, my mate?
I think a lot for me, especially because I hopefully am relatively early doors in my content journey. So to be, you know, recognized when I still feel like I'm, as I said earlier, throwing spaghetti at the wall, you know, like for me, I love testing and learning. That's what I enjoy. But I'm also a bit of a perfectionist. So I felt quite awkward sending it and being like, I've only got like a few videos and the lighting's really bad. And you know, like I've not quite figured out my situation. So to have that, I suppose, validated, you know, and people such as yourself as well being so kind about the content, I think it reiterates that it's not about the little things, you know, it's whether or not that content is funny or helpful or entertaining. And I've been wanting to try content creation by myself for a very long time, personally on a personal level. So I think I'm just really proud of my adult self. It's not easy to do when you have a full-time job and a life and a partner, and I think I'm just proud of myself for carving out time to do something just for me. I'm
proud.
Thank you. That's really nice.
And I think when you work hard for something, it is recognition. It's so heartwarming for a creative to show, you know, you did work hard. You have come out at the end of it, and look where it's got you. And it's not for like a self-ego build thing. It's just to show you that all this time and effort that you have put into something, it is recognised.
Exactly that. It is just, it's a reminder that I think when you put something out there, you quickly kind of become a bit detached from it, and you're like, oh gosh, what's next? You know, and it's a reminder to look at what you've already done. And like you say, it's always going to be there. Hopefully YouTube servers, you know, continue to live. It's always going to be there. So it's a bit of a diary for me, you know, and that would have been enough. So having a recognition on top of that is just, the cherry on top.
I wish you the very best for that, my mate. I really do. Do you ever stop and realise that people generally look up to you in this hobby now?
Oh, do you think so?
I think so.
That's really nice. No, not so much. I feel very much...
Can I just interrupt? Only because, Minty, you're very well... highly spoken of. Everyone absolutely adores you, and I know why they do, because you are lovely, and you just do great content that we can all relate. Even though you could be miles away on the end of that phone, it feels like we are close, and it's because of you.
I'm so glad you feel that way, or that the content feels that way. I think I don't ever feel like anyone can look up to me, because I'm constantly looking up to other people, and I think and that's not just creators who have more followers or more awareness. It's people I just see posting every day, constantly creating resources for the community, charity events, just teaching kids how to play D&D. I am constantly in awe of other creators. So I think I'm part of hopefully a lovely cycle of people kind of looking at other people and thinking they're cool and wanting to carry on because of them, So if I inspire someone to do their own thing, then lovely. What a lovely thing.
It really is, because as you go along that journey and you keep going forward towards that track, and you're finding your inspirations that make you go forward, you need to look behind and see the track that's leaving the inspiration for the next people that are going forward. And that's how I think how it moves, and especially with this bustling community that is evolving at a quick rate.
It is.
These is where people in the near future can look at these videos and relate to the things that they've gone through in their campaigns and that. So keep going forward, but what you're doing, the track behind, also leads to inspiration, mate.
Thank you. And I feel like this entire chat is just like a practice in gratitude. That's really
I like
really
to blow smoke up people's ass so much, but it's only because you highly deserve it, my friend. So what's something people misunderstand about being a content creator?
Oh, I suppose we've sort of touched on some of those things. I think we've probably got a bit of an idea in our heads, a very specific idea of what content creator means now, and it's very much influenced by social media, and it's very much starts to lean towards being an influencer, so to say. In my job, we refer to them differently. There are people who create content because they're just creatives and they just provide content, or they're smaller and they have smaller communities, and then you've got your influencers, the people with 1 million followers, etc. And I think both are very valid, and both can do lovely things, but I think it's just the reminder that there's no right way to do it. And I think some people very quickly are like, oh, I need to post every day, or I'm going to fall into obscurity, or people won't care anymore and my content won't mean as much. And it just doesn't work like that, and I know that because I work in it. The more authentic your content, the more it is genuinely your point of view, and your the giving to the world the only thing that you can give, that will cut through. That has value, and I think people quickly, like say trend chase, or worry about how they need to kind of dress themselves up, or how they need to get more reach and followers and stuff, and it just that's vapid. Real building your career or your content creation over time takes time, and it takes trial and error and failure, and it's messy. So I think if people don't realize that mess is ahead of them, that's probably my thing to say, is it's not always going to be fun, but just try to keep doing what is fun and see what happens, see where it takes you.
I got some brilliant advice once from a tattoo guru of content, a tattoo content guru, and he had said, stop treating your page like a pedestal and start treating it like a palette.
Oh, I like that.
It's good, isn't it?
A lot.
And once he said that, I didn't care about what I posted up, because it's only you that looks at that page and scrolls down. No one really does that these days.
No,
but
100%.
You'll constantly look at your page, and the moment you start treating it like an artist's palette and not a pedestal to show you like it's the main stage light, I think the more you have fun with your content.
Absolutely, yeah. If you obviously, not to say don't pour time into things, but if you do put all of your eggs in one basket and you're like, this is the post, this is the video, this is the one that's going to blow up, that tends to only lead to sadness, and it's always the thing you don't expect which gets the most love and the most attention.
Yeah.
So don't think about it too much.
I do like I could tattoo for like 12 hours and try and do this masterpiece and post it and get like 16 likes. And then I do this little tiny tattoo that means nothing. I thought, I'll just post it to put something up, and it gets like the biggest likes and the most comments. You're like,
it's infuriating, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Minty, how do you deal with creative burnout?
It's a really good question. I think being kind to myself, first of all, remembering what you've said, like you say about, what you've done is enough so far. And also, I think you made a really good point there of nobody's looking at you the way you're looking at yourself. Nobody is holding you to a standard the way you are holding yourself to a standard. Yeah. This idea of, I do it constantly. I do it every week. I go, oh my gosh, I haven't posted in 4 days. Someone's going to notice. No one's going to notice. No one cares. It's not that deep. Yeah. So I think reminding myself that I am my own worst critic, my own worst enemy. And then waiting for inspiration to strike again, giving myself the time and the space and the headroom rather than forcing ideas. I find that the second I don't think too much about it, obviously I'm lucky to play D&D regularly, play other TTRPGs, something will happen in a game and I'll be like, that's it, that's what I want to talk about. So just opening my mind to letting things come in and not worrying too much about what I'm putting out.
What are your other interests, mate, in TTRPGs? What do you like to get yourself up to?
Ooh, well, I have had the pleasure of trying some new systems this year, and I hope to try some more as well, because I love Dungeons & Dragons. It will always be my first love, my big love, but I also completely respect that it is not the perfect system in a lot of ways, and there are systems that are more roleplay focused, systems that have more interesting dice mechanics, there's things I want to try. So the first I have tried and I'm still playing is a horror game called Cult Divinity Lost, which is, I believe, a Swedish made game, and the wonderful Mitchell over at Good Game Fair
I was about to say, hi Mitchell.
Hi, Mitchell.
One of the guys who speaks very highly of you, by the way.
Oh, I'm really glad. We are good friends. I do speak to him quite regularly, even though he spends his GMing time, causing just the horrors that you've never quite conceived of before. Yeah, like he's so scary when he's in the GM seat, but the loveliest person. We got chatting and he said, what are you into? And I said, I'm kind of into horror, and he was like, I've got the game for you. So we've tried that, which I love. I also had the pleasure of trying 12-Sided Studios Forces of Extinction recently.
Yes,
that is a new game.
I wanted to talk about that. How was that?
It was really, really fun. It was really bombastic. Obviously, I've only had sort of one toe dip into it, and I'm sure it could be GM'd very differently, but we went in with quite funny characters, and the stakes were immediately very high. So it was quite fast-paced, very intense. There's, massive kaiju monsters happening towards the end and stuff. So that was a real laugh. So yeah, there's a few things. I'm going to be trying Pirate Borg soon, which I'm excited. I've never played a pirate before, so that'll be fun. And I feel like I'm missing an obvious one, but yeah, there's my goal for the year is to just see how many I can rack up and expand my horizons a little bit.
Okay, so there's nothing in your other time, what you want to do with your spare time. It's just pure TTRPGs.
Oh, it's just pure TTRPGs. No,
spread right across.
No, as mentioned, I'm a big sort of film and TV person. Honestly, if I'm not here playing games, I'm on my settee, watching TV, watching YouTube. I have embarked on a new project, though. I am dipping my toe into the waters of voice work, which is really exciting. Yeah, it's really fun. I have had the pleasure of being brought onto I really hope he doesn't mind me talking about this, but there is an Instagram account for it, being brought onto a audiobook project for a horror anthology series called I've Had Trouble Sleeping Lately. And yeah, it's pretty gruesome. I've recorded 2 out of multiple stories. I'm on the 3rd one now. Every story is really different, very different horror each time. I don't know how he does it. The author is a fantastic, lovely person called Pablo, and Pablo Alfieri. But yeah, that's something that is pretty new to me, and I'm kind of just starting to get involved in. But if anyone's interested in horror or horror stories or creepypastas, anything like that, I would encourage them to follow the Instagram account, because these stories are phenomenal and terrifying and gory and great.
Please do. I'll be doing the same. I'm a massive horror fan. I didn't know you were a big horror fan. I would love to run the thing.
Ooh. Is there a system for that?
No, but it's
You
kind
just
of
run the
like
scenario.
what's the game? Among Us, because someone inside them knows that they are the alien.
Ooh, that's so fun.
And
I
it's
love
cold and it's freezing, and we are in the middle of the Antarctic. It's a little bit Curse of Strahd because I take it it'll have some sort of ice domain.
that. Love that.
You know,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah. I think as well that is a very easy, to be fair, for example, the Forces of Extinction game I played, it was such a simple dice mechanic game
Okay.
that like you could take that to the ends of the earth in terms of what kind of scenario you wanted to play. So yeah, please do that and invite me. I want to play.
Yeah, definitely. And imagine like knowing that you are the alien, trying to entice one of your players to come in a room with you. It's like, look, I've got some really good whiskey here. Do you want to have a little try of this whiskey?
And then you just I love that. I've seen, I don't know if you remember, but in campaign 3 of Critical Role, they had a doppelganger, test where one of them was the doppelganger. And I think maybe it ended up being that none of them were, but I love the concept of that. I think you probably have to be at a table of people who know each other very well because you will end up screaming at each other.
Definitely, there'll be some tiffs going on. But it's just another interesting spanner in the works of TTRPGs, isn't it?
100%. They're endless. You can do absolutely anything.
All right, Minty, dead exciting. There we go. It's something I really want to know myself about you, our D&D deep dives. Favourite class?
Ooh, fighter for me. I know it's I'm 1 year into one and I miss spells, I do, but I'm playing an Echo Knight fighter right now and I love it. I just love swinging a sword.
Okay. Minty martial a lot?
Say again.
Minty martial a lot?
Minty martial all the time. Not even just a lot. Minty doesn't touch spells.
Favourite race, do I have to ask?
Say again, sorry.
Favourite race?
Oh, as in what species?
Yes.
Well, my current character is a human. I know that's super boring, but I find that really interesting. Playing a human fighter. Because I thought, I know somebody's going to take the piss out of me for this, and I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to make the most interesting human fighter. But I am using a lineage, so I'm using Reborn, which adds a bit of flavour. She's dead. She's not just a human, she's dead.
Ooh,
like that's cool. That's nice.
What's your favourite campaign you've ever played in?
My current one by an absolute mile. It's a homebrew campaign. We are playing 5.5, so we're playing 2024, which I'm having a pretty good time with. So yeah, this current setting that we're in, it's very much high fantasy, epic hero's quest, but for me, I've played a lot of smaller, shorter games, and I've never had the chance to play the hero's journey start to finish. So I'm really enjoying the proper hero's journey.
Nice, like proper old classic fighter style, proper journey.
Yeah, 100%. It's very Fellowship, it's very Lord of the Rings, and I love
like
that.
Legend, all of that type of stuff.
Oh yeah. There's a prophecy, because
I love all that. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened on your table?
Oh my goodness. I don't think I can point one thing out, to be honest with you. I think my favorite thing is just when the hive mind happens, you know, it will be something quiet, like somebody says something and, the DM carries on his very serious monologue and everyone else is just like shaking, laughing in the background. I definitely couldn't bring it down to one thing, but to that point, I will say, people who take notes, everyone should take notes, but people who take notes at their D&D table, write down the funny moments. You will forget them. And I started doing this, and now in all of our session recaps, I have a bullet point list of everything that made us laugh.
I don't do that.
It's one of those things where you don't think of it in the moment, and you're like, that was so funny, I'll definitely remember that in 2 weeks' time. You won't. Life happens and you forget. So I just really encourage people to write down the funny moments, because then you can look back on it and go, oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that.
Amazing, Minty. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Every time you get these little things like so, funny moments, bullet points. I'll definitely be doing that. Is there an NPC you want to give a shout out to who you've never forgotten?
Oh, NPC I've never forgotten. I think I will give a shout out to an NPC she's still alive and kicking. My current DM brought brought our table together around an NPC. We had first game a 17-year-old kid, like scrappy kid, and it was like, right, you're escorting her, so don't let her die. Which was a fantastic way to bring a bunch of strangers around one thing. You know, we were like, okay, this kid seems nice. You know, like, we don't want to let her die. And he has evolved that into a plot I never could have expected. It's been a year-long campaign, and it turns out that she is a bastard to the throne, and now we're rallying a whole army around her. We're going to try and get her to the throne, and hopefully she survives. So I know that I'll never forget Mira, this NPC, because she's scrappy, she's funny, she's a little twit, but hopefully she's going to rule the continent one day. We'll see if we can get her there.
Yeah, it's like sort of Daenerys or something like that. Like...
Exactly. But she's a menace, you know, like she'll steal things, you know, like she's not a good princess. She's a naughty kid.
She sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm going to let you see if you can see into the future at the moment. So, where would you love Minty Talks A Lot to be in 5 years?
5 years, oh my goodness. I think I would love to be involved in more community-based sort of projects and events. I think it's all well and good me yelling into the microphone, but like that concept of helping people and getting more people into TTRPGs, however I can expand that, be involved in also more charity work I would love to get involved in. Just maybe, I think right now I'm in a lot of communities, and something that would be lovely to do is create a small one of my own. Maybe a Discord server one day, that'd be nice. We'll see. Absolutely. So nothing too crazy, just carrying on in this vein and seeing where it takes us.
Well, I'll be a member of that Discord.
Thank you.
Party, let me tell you, mate. Is there a dream collaboration still on your bucket list?
Look, Mike, if I don't get on the crit roll table one day, I think, no, there's so many really sick creators, sort of, I won't pitch my dreams that high, but for me, I know we've managed to barely mention them, but Critical Role was the start of me really falling in love with D&D and really wanting to play.
Same.
Getting to meet some people from that. Are you
Brendan
going to the live show in London? I feel like you...
I am, in October.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the D&D Expo in August anymore because it's been moved.
It's been moved along, yeah. But I also was looking into that, so hopefully we can go to that still. But don't worry, we'll be able to cross paths in London in October.
We will definitely cross our paths when in London. I have heard... down the line, is that the same weekend as the London Comic-Con?
It is. Yeah, they've timed that well.
So they're also at the Comic-Con, aren't they?
I believe they will be. Yeah, they were when they were last in London, which I always had the pleasure of seeing that show.
Fingers crossed.
I will say, if you want to see any panel or anything like that, get there at the crack of dawn, because I couldn't get in, which was fine because I got to see the live show. But yeah, I imagine that they'll be doing some other bits and bobs around there as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's the Tales of Exandria.
Yes, I've followed Tales of Exandria for years, yeah.
Yeah, the only bad thing about it is Robbie Damon isn't there. He's my man.
Yeah. Oh, that is a shame. Yeah, this is the thing. The cast is so big now. It's like I want all of them I want a campaign 4 in London. That's what I want. I want all of them. I want different guests. I want Calamity. Like give it all of it to me.
Wembley Stadium, biggest stadium we've got. Brendan Lee Mulligan right in the middle.
100%. It was such a joy to be at that first London show, because I know it was proof of concept
amazing.
for them in the UK. Say that again, sorry.
Amazing, you were there. Sorry.
Yeah, I was. I went with the friend of mine who first ever sent me a crit roll video. He is a friend of mine who lives in Croatia. We've been friends since we were children, and he sent me a video, and I went, "What is wrong with you? This is 4 hours long." And he was like, "Trust me, you will love this." And here we are. I have my entire Minty Talks A Lot career, I have him to thank. But we went together, and yeah, it was like nothing I've ever experienced. I was, screaming into the third hour. It was great. So
I'm
looking forward to doing that again.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to meeting you there as well, my mate. Are you ready for the quick fire tavern question rounds?
Oh, I'll try and be concise. I'm really bad at that.
Okay, let's go. Tavern drink, ale, wine, tea, or something completely chaotic. What would it be?
Ooh, I wish I was more interesting and say chaotic. I love an ale. I love a beer. Just a lager, please.
Nice
That'd
big
be
top
great.
frothy one, boss. Number 2, you can steal one magic item from any D&D campaign. Do you know what that would be?
Ooh, that is tricky. Any D&D campaign. I think I really like a functional item. This sounds really boring, but speaking of crit roll, Caleb's amber and his ability to like put things away and pull it back out and
Nice.
stuff like that, and just even a simple bag of holding. It's like, really, that would do wonders. Let's not get too crazy. I just need a big bag at the end of the day.
Bag of holding. I knew it was going to be everyone loves a bag of holding.
Oh, it's
You're trapped in a dungeon with one famous D&D creator. Who would you choose?
Oh, do you know what? It is the big dog. It's Brendan Lee Mulligan. I really just want to pick that man's brain about anything. Really, he could talk to me about anything.
Same, yeah. How many times do I mention? I'm going to swear. How many times do I mention your fucking name, bro, on this show? The day that you come and sit on this chair is probably the day that I won't do any more content. After that, I think I'll just be finished.
Yeah, you got to quit while you're ahead at that point.
I always ask this one for everyone. A nat 20 or a nat 20 at the perfect moment. What are you rolling for?
What am I rolling for? Ooh. I think the most satisfying nat 20 is always a persuasion check. Like, that has got to be, the most satisfying when you really need someone to do something or not kill you. Like, that's got to be the one, surely. I've had a very clutch nat 20 persuasion check as well, and it was, I was floating for days.
I think a demon, anything demonic, anything if you can swindle their thoughts or anything like, you're like, yes, I'm right in there.
Exactly.
Your life becomes a D&D campaign tomorrow. Oh my god. What's the title of session 1?
Title of session 1 is, oh gosh, when will Minty wake up? I'm a really late riser, so I think I would be late to my own D&D story, to be honest with you. Is she still asleep? Yes.
Oh, amazing. So you're a night owl.
I am a bit, and I fear that I'm most adventurous at the table, and at home I'm very chilled, so it'd probably be quite a boring campaign.
Yeah, some of the best times, actually, to be fair. Minty, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Inquisition. Thank you for sharing all your stories. Congratulations again on the Crit Awards nomination.
Thank you so
much. And here's hoping this is just the beginning of an even bigger venture. Can you tell me, and everyone that's watching, hello, once again, who are you and where can they find you, darling?
My name is Minty. It's Araminta if you want to give me the full government name. But my name is Minty. Minty Talks A Lot. You can find me at Minty Talks A Lot on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Also on Discord. If you spot me in a Discord server, please say hi. I'm in quite a few. And yeah, I have had an absolute blast. Thank you, Mike. This has been, like you say, a long time coming. And if you're ever bored, I'll come straight back.
Oh, I'll always have you back. Trust me, there will be a Minty part 2. Let me see. That'll definitely be happening. But for tonight, have a lovely evening, love. Thank you for joining me. A long time awaited, and I am so glad it's happened.
Me too. This is the best thing that's happened all week, for sure. Thank you.
Keep rolling, keep inspiring, and keep making fantastic content. And I'll see you soon, kiddo.
Thank you.
Bye.